working on getting dressed, but do stay tuned. I've got a few errands to take care of as usual, but we've got a very cool, very, call it unbelievable, true story planned for you today. And please stay tuned to the end because there's a very, very important moral or lesson at the end of it that you won't want to miss. All right, so I'm in the truck and I've got a few errands to run before I can make this video for today. Just as usual, I gotta go drop off a package at the post office. But later I wanna talk about this right here. And you probably know what this is already, but I'm gonna tell you why this one in particular is special. And then we'll get to that important bit at the end that you don't wanna miss. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm your host, Shikapedia, and today I'm here to talk to you about an essential part of my own creative process. Now, maybe this is something that you're doing already. Maybe it's something that you would like to have to add but haven't yet. In either event, I'm here to talk about using a notebook. Now, this one here, I got this for the equivalent of $1 in Italy from a little store called Tiger in Florence on Via de Cervi. And anytime I'm in Italy, I tend to pick up a bunch of these. In fact, next time I go, I'm just going to bring an empty suitcase so I can fill it up with these and bring them back because I never quite seem to get enough. Over the years, I've been keeping a notebook like this for 25, 30 years now. I've filled hundreds of them, got all kinds. Sometimes, if I run out of those, I might use something like this. I picked these up for about $1 at the grocery store. I just got this one today, so you can see it's blank. I like the spiral bound because they lay flat. The only downside to these is the durability is not as high if it's going in your back pocket and you drive around or sit around. They definitely show their friction after a very short time, and they can be a little worse for the wear. This is going to be a bit more durable. But I bring up notebooks and Italy specifically because, story to tell you about a notebook and why I keep these. And then I'm going to share something with you at the end that I think is critical to how you manage and handle your notebook. So let's jump into it. In August of 2007, I married my wife, L'Oreal, in Dana Point, California. And 9 days later, we were on a plane for Italy. So basically, we lived in Italy from August of 2007 to around June of 2008. We went on a lot of trips in the interim there while we were there, mostly within Italy itself. We visited, of course, Rome. I went down to Sorrento, got to see Pompeii. We walked the rim of Mount Vesuvius. But in January of 2008, and I remember this because it happened right around the same time Heath Ledger passed away, we took a day trip. We were already in North Italy staying in Padova, in Mantua, in that area. If you've read Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare kind of covers this geography fairly, say, thoroughly. But, Verona, Padova, Mantova, Vicenza, which I didn't get to visit. But in particular, we went to Venice. Sorry, I'm digressing a bit here. So we took a day trip to Venice on our own. So we spent the day hiking around the city. We saw as much as we could find in this labyrinth. We somehow missed a lot of big features, but we did make it to like Piazza San Marcos. We got to see, the pigeons, famous pigeons. It was a good day overall. And then around evening time, we wound up in this quiet little piazza with a little grocery store. So we went in, we bought a couple of beers. We parked ourselves on a bench. And I remember I made note of it in my little notebook that I was carrying at the time. And then afterward, we made our way back to the train station. Now, it was upon arriving at this train station that I realized I no longer had my notebook on me. I was a bit panicked. It was something that I kept in my left back pocket and it just wasn't there. So I convinced my wife that we should go back and look for it, which we did. We wandered. It took us forever, but we finally found our way back to the little piazza where we had our beers. And I searched the bench that we had sat on high and low. And what do you know? No notebook. Couldn't find it anywhere. So it was getting very dark by then. There's a lot of people in Carnevale outfits wandering around. It was very kind kind of ethereal, otherworldly. But we made our way back to the train station, resigned myself that I would probably never ever see this notebook again, got on our train, went back to our hotel in Padova, eventually came back to the United States, and I figured that was the end of the story. But as it turns out, it wasn't. No, indeed, it was not. Almost 10 years to the day later, I got this message via Facebook Messenger. And within maybe a week of that, I received, by way of FedEx, the notebook that I had left on that bench in Venice 10 years prior. And what's interesting here, I'm going to share a couple of snippets with you. It's very short, so just bear with me here. At 5:41 p.m. on the evening of January 25th, 2008, I made this notation here. On a bench in Venice, drinking a beer Peroni with L'Oreal. We walked around pretty much the whole city today, and this is where we crashed. So the woman who found my journal, then a young woman named Sylvia, sent it back, and she included these lovely drawings from her hometown of Vicenza. This here is the view of the Basilica Palladiana from Pontefuro. And then this is the Villa Rotonda. Get that to focus there. You get the idea. Very talented artist herself. And she included this note, January 25th, 2018, 10 years later. Hi, Jeremiah. It's been a long time, but if you were reading this paper, it means your diary is finally home. You told me you wrote everything about your trip in Italy in your diary, so I drew something for you about Vicenza since it stayed here for a while. I wish all the best to you and your family, and if you will come to Italy again, let me know. Kindest regards, Sylvia. Now, I don't know how you feel about synchronicity, but this made a believer out of me. I lost this journal on January 25th, 2008. Now I have it back with this addendum note in here dated January 25th, 2018 from the young woman who found my journal and made the effort to return it to me. And there was one reason and one reason only that she was able to do that. Are you ready for it? Well, if you have any degree of sense or logic yourself, you probably already figured it out. And you might have seen it in the message that I showed you from her initially making contact. But I bothered to keep my name and address in here. In fact, I included multiple addresses for my then residence in California, my residence in Florence, how they could get a hold of me through the California State University campus there in Florence. So there were multiple means to contact me. I don't know why it took 10 years, but I think the 10 years just kind of adds to the whole flavor of this thing. There wasn't anything critically important in here. I hadn't discovered the cure for cancer. I didn't come up with a means for like cold fusion or something like it. Something that's going to change the world. There's nothing life-altering in here. In fact, if I flip through the pages, I have beer bottle labels that I saved because I thought they were interesting. Or in places here, I have scores from playing hearts with other expats over there in Italy. God, there's all kinds of things here. Blank sheets of paper from jolly hotels at places that I stayed. A drawing of the Duke of Urbino, who looks a lot like Paul Sorvino. So, you know, it's not that the ideas themselves are important. It's just the lasting impression and memory of having said and done and experienced these things. And the fact that, like a boomerang that took 10 years to do its thing, it did eventually come back to me. And that's what I would want to impart to you is part of this creative process is it's more than just putting your ideas in here. It's putting your stamp of ownership upon it, because eventually, some of these ideas, whether they're found by somebody else or by you, they do have a way of coming back into your life. And I think that's an incredibly powerful thing. So thank you for tuning in. That's it. That's what I've got today. I guess cool story, bro. I do have some more comics news coming up. I'm back in contact with Jeremiah Espinoza, writer of the famed Hallowed North, a sort of horror story based in bringing awareness to mental illness, in particular bipolar disorder type 2. He has hit me up about drawing the long-awaited third issue of that series, so I'm looking forward to that. We've got Old Devils 2 coming up on the docket. I'm finishing up issue 2 of Thistle with author J.L. Collins, among some other projects, possibly a new museum gig coming up. So I will keep everybody posted about that. In the meantime, the like button is right where I left it. So is the subscribe button. So if you haven't hit either of those, please feel free to use this opportunity to do so. And we will see you back next time for the next video, hopefully very soon.